Hello and welcome, you beautiful bookish people. I am so excited for this video. I originally had something else planned and then this idea just like popped into my head and I said, perfect, let's do that. I'm sure you know from the title of the video, the Love is Blind couples are gonna choose my reads and here's how it's gonna go. Obviously, I'm not connected enough to be able to actually speak to these people, so that's really unfortunate. However, I have all of the couples and the would-be couples on pieces of paper, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in my TBR jar and then I'm gonna pull a name, pull a couple, and whatever book reminds me of that couple is gonna be put on my TBR. And listen, I think I'm only gonna do maybe 3 or 4 depending on what I choose because I have so much to go through for April. I think I already have 3 books on my TBR, technically 5 because I just started City of Gods and Monsters, which is the first book in the House of Devils series by Kayla Edwards, and oh my God, it's so good. But powerful, I almost said powerless. Powerful, it's neither of those. Fearless comes out in 2 weeks, which I think is like what, like April 8th or something like that, which is the finale to the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts, and that I'm definitely gonna read. I'm super excited to finish that, but I also had pre-ordered the second book of A Fate Inked in Blood, and I decided since I already have the first book, A Fate Inked in Blood, that I'm not gonna read it until the second book comes out since I got it like pretty close to when this next book is coming, so I figured it would be nice to like just read it back to back since it's gonna be a duet. So that's coming at some point. I don't know, I'll get to it when it gets here, but that's what I have on my TBR. And then the House of Devils has, it's gonna be 6 books, but it has only 3 out right now, so I'm gonna try to finish the 3, but those are like 600-700 pages each, so we'll see. But let's do a refresher on which couples we have in this season 8 of Love is Blind. We have, actually I'm gonna ruffle this up because I can. We have Alex and Madison, David and Lauren, Joey and Monica, Devin and Virginia, Daniel and Taylor, Mason and Madison, Mason and Meg, and then Ben and Sarah. I'm sure you'll be able to figure out kind of my opinions on them as well, but let's head over to my bookshelf so we can look at what we've got. Okay, aquí estamos. Most of these books and these books are on my TBR, and then I have a few sprinkled out throughout that I'll know it if I need to pick it, but they're just around here somewhere. So I put all of the couples in my TBR jar, cup, container.
Jars, all around jar.
I'm gonna let this serve as like my little spoiler warning. If you have not seen season 8, I would recommend that you pause and save this and come back later because I'm obviously gonna be talking about my opinions of them and probably mentioning a few things that happened. And even though there's some like what if couples in here, it kind of just tells you like who ends up with who, and I probably will go into more detail on if they made it or not. So just be aware. If you don't care about knowing, then welcome and keep watching. Let's get into it. Oh my god. Okay, starting off strong. David and Lauren. Oh my god, these two kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, he pissed me off. David and Lauren. They are kind of not necessarily explosive, but like lots of conflict going on. Okay, we have 5 Broken Blades by May Corland, and I feel like the broken part and the blade part definitely apply to them, so we're gonna put this at one of the options. And I'm also thinking Spark of the Everflame kind of reminds me of them, partially just because of the fire, and fire makes me think of explosive and hot and dangerous. I guess. We also have A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan, and that's kind of on the same vibe as Spark of the Everflame, so there's that. I think, okay, these are good options. I don't want to go too much further than this. I think I'm going to choose A Fire in the Sky. This is my Fairy Loot edition that I got. It says dragons are extinct, witches are outcast, but magic lives, and that sounds really interesting to me. And there's horses on it, and if you didn't know, I ride horses. I do eventing. I love horses and everything to do with that equestrian everything. And so when I saw this had horses and dragons, I said, yes, please. And so I think, okay, the fire aspect is definitely gonna fit David and Lauren. So we're gonna go with that. And I'm excited to read this. I think I've heard good things about it. I haven't heard too much, but look at this, it's so pretty. Okay, so that's book number 1. I realized too that I need to keep into account what Kindle TBR I have, because I do have a Kindle TBR. I have Kindle Unlimited, and I recently went through my Goodreads want to read shelf and then figured out which ones were on Kindle Unlimited. So I have to keep this open because I want to read some of these. Let's do number 2. Okay, we have Joey and Monica. Honestly, I loved these two, and I was so confused at why in the reunion things got like pretty explosive. I think these two were just very cute and very goofy, and I really liked that because a lot of times we see the same kinds of couples, and I feel like it was really refreshing to see these two. Okay, for this one, I'm looking around on my shelves and I'm not seeing anything that like really jumps out at me, but I have Songbird of Heart and Stone that I want to read on Kindle Unlimited, which is part of the Serpent and the Wings of Night, the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and I have not read that yet. I've read everything else by Carissa Broadbent. That's the only book that I haven't read, and I feel like since Songbird of Heart and Stone follows Misha, that Misha kind of reminds me of Monica a little bit, and like she's just fun and lighthearted and very much sunshine. So I think this one was kind of easier than I thought. I think we're gonna go with Songbird of Heart and Stone for Joey and Monica. I think we're doing good so far because both of these are like not necessarily standalones, but like the only ones that I could read. There's nothing to read after that, so I think I'm gonna choose maybe 2 more depending on what we get. Okay, we have Devin and Virginia. I'm not gonna lie to you, these weren't my favorite either. I really liked Devin, but I feel like they did him really dirty in the reunion. I thought the reunion was so interesting to me, and I feel like Virginia wasn't, like, she had like one foot out the door kind of the whole time. I don't know why. This reminded me of them too, but I have The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni on here. First of all, so flappy, and I love it. I'm not even gonna try to explain to you why I thought of this book. It just kind of popped into my head because I feel like towards the end, Virginia was kind of like, she didn't want to be like stuck in the relationship. I don't know. I literally don't even know. And that, I can't explain my thought process. Okay, so The Prison Healer, which is a trilogy, but also there's a quote from Sarah J. Maas on the book. So that's promising. So this is option number 1. We also have Reign of Shadows and Endings on Kindle Unlimited, which I thought that was kind of fitting because obviously like endings, they ended. We also have Dragonfall, which I literally just picked this up at Barnes & Noble, which is the exclusive edition. I feel like the falling part of it kind of fits Devin and Virginia. And this is a duology, so I have had Prison Healer on my TBR for so long, and I know I need to read it, but I'm also not ready to jump into a trilogy quite yet, I don't think. So we're gonna do Dragonfall. We're gonna say Devin and Virginia is Dragonfall. So that would be 3, technically 4 books to put on my TBR. And so that's probably 7 books right there, but some of these are not very long. So I'm gonna do 1 more and maybe hopefully get to them because I really want a specific couple. Ben and Sarah. Not who I was hoping for. Dude, these two were so strange to me. So strange. It was so clear that she saw so many red flags in him, which don't get me wrong, like I love Ben and I feel like they're just meant for different people. I love them both separately, but like as far as her standards for who she wanted, I'm like, girl, he does not meet your standards. Like even though he's a good person, like he does not meet your standards. So why are you trying? Because you're literally standing here about to marry somebody who you want him to be, but he could be, but like he's not right now. You cannot marry an ideal. Just saying. I'm not gonna lie, the only book that I could think of on my shelf is Dance of Thieves, which I think technically the first one, not the first one, but like the original series is The Kiss of Deception, but I thought of Dance of Thieves because like if they were to get married, they would have felt robbed of certain things, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense? I almost unhauled this book because it's been on my shelf for so dang long and I want to read it. I've heard it's good and I have the really pretty Barnes & Noble exclusive edition with like the gold edges on it. Maybe I don't want to read this. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm just intimidated. I've never read anything by Mary E. Pearson. Okay, I actually read the back of this one and I think I'm gonna pick this one up. This sounds so interesting and I'm planning to do a vlog where I read all of my TBR books for this month later. I hope I can get to that because April is fixing to be a very busy month and this does not seem very long whatsoever. The font is huge, the spacing is very large, and it's only like 450 something pages. So we're gonna go with this one, which I'm actually, okay, no, I'm excited for this one because it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time and my sister bought this one for me, so I really need to read it, and I probably think it's on Kindle because I probably have to read I'm probably gonna want to read the other 2 books too. Yeah, we're gonna do this one for Ben and Sarah. I'm gonna leave it at that. So let's recap. The first book we chose was for David and Lauren, and that is gonna be A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan. The second book was for Joey and Monica, and this one I'm reading on Kindle. It's gonna be The Songbird of Heart and Stone by Carissa Broadbent. Number 3 is for Devin and Virginia, and that's gonna be Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. And the last one is for Ben and Sarah, and that is going to be The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I'm actually excited for this TBR. This feels like a very chill TBR, which I feel like I'm gonna need after reading the finale of Powerless and also continuing City of Gods and Monsters, because that one is very, 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 very fantasy heavy, and it took me like 90 pages to like actually start grasping and like get a roll into the book, but it is so good. And I've heard that one is like a lot more intense even as the series goes on, and I feel like all of these seem pretty chill from what I can tell. So yay, come back later so you can watch me read all of these books. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.